So my name is Ari. I work as an exercise physiologist. I also compete in Olympic weightlifting. So that's where they do the snatch and the clean and jerk. I love helping people nail lifts. So whether that be your conventional squat, bench, deadlift, I love those, and then go into more your Olympic lifts. Today we're going to go through the deadlift. We're going to pair that with an exercise that I find that really helps warm those areas up, like the muscles we need to use. We're going to do some squats and also a glute bridge to work on some of those feelings through there to help with range of motion, depth. If you ever feel tight in the ankles, knees, hips, that's what we're going to work on. And then we'll also go through our bench press and a good shoulder warm up that I find that helps. We're going to talk a little bit at the start just about some general injury prevention things that I think is good to know, and we should have some good fun. Feel free to ask questions at any time, just shout out and we can have a discussion about certain things. A little bit about myself as well. So I work as an exercise physiologist. Exercise physiology was created to be more of a longer term healthcare service. So I usually say to people, physio helps people from injury 0 to 6 weeks. And then exercise physiology is designed from 6 weeks and on. So if you've had a lingering niggle for the last 6 months, 12 months, then I usually specialize in helping those people just get that last little 10% so you can lift without any worry. You don't have to think about your back every time that you're trying to set up, things like that. Cool. Any questions? Anything before we get started? Anyone need to go to the bathroom now? No? Cool, awesome. Alrighty, so with injuries, something to mention to start off with is like just food and training. So when I have a client and say they're like, oh, I'm trying to lose weight, only eating once a day, I haven't had breakfast for the last 3 years or things like that, I have 10 coffees a day, that can kind of have like red flags. It's like, okay, we're not really going to get as much out of this rehab because the person isn't able to fuel themselves. It is a bit counterintuitive, but when you lift weights and when you do exercise, you are actually causing muscle damage. From that muscle damage of the exercise, you're then eating food, protein, other things to help repair those muscles so that you're stronger, fitter, and just beast. So you can smash out the front squats, deadlifts, squat, and all that. So basically an injury is very similar to the DOMS, like that muscle soreness feeling you get, but it's just you've torn the muscle or you've tweaked it or done something to it where it's just gone too far. You've overstrained it past your capacity. And with training, what we try to do is we try to do controlled muscle damage to increase your capacity over time. So if you are ever doing a challenge, if you find your sleep's been off, if you find you're trying to be in a calorie deficit or something, like that's a stress, don't then be annoyed if you don't get a PB. So people usually feel like, oh, I'm doing this challenge, I'm trying to cut weight, I'm trying to do these things, I should also be PBing, I should also be performing my best. And those things don't always have to correlate at the same time or coincide at the same time. Usually I like to say if calories and weight loss is your goal, then focus on that. Don't worry about the weights in the gym. And then if the weights in the gym is your goal, try to fuel for performance. If you're training for butterfly effect, if you're doing paladin, then focus on fueling your body to perform rather than worrying about all these things happening at once. Cool. I think it is an amazing shift the whole gym culture is making to performance. I'm a big believer in doing these fun competitions. Even though it is just a recreational thing, I think it gives a lot of great intention to training. I think it's a great way to think about training externally rather than always being worried about, how we look or comparing ourselves to other people. We can have community and do things like that, which I think is amazing. Cool. And then just being worried about volume. So when I've spoken with people about, running's a big one, so in Paladin, they're like, oh yeah, I wasn't really running, I was doing like 2 or 3 classes beforehand, and I've got Paladin coming up in like 5-6 weeks, so I've started doing 10Ks every Sunday, I've started doing 5 Fitstop classes, I've started doing 2-a-days, and it's like gone from 2 or 3 sessions a week, fitting with a busy life, and then you get really passionate, your friends roped you into their team, you're like, shit, okay, I have to get super fit, and then it's a massive increase in volume. I know we can feel that social pressure of like, oh, my friends rely on me, I don't want to let them down, but do be mindful with injuries that they can happen if you go from a little amount or just your normal amount of training to a large amount of training. And that's something you can easily just take a look at and be like, okay, rather than doing 10Ks on the weekend, I'll do a 5K and then I'll walk for another 2 or 3. Rather than doing 5 Fitstop classes, I might just keep it to 4 for now. And then as I get closer towards the competition or thing that I'm doing, I might get it up to 5. And then I'd even recommend before, say you do Paladin or before you do Butterfly Effect, maybe having a bit of a rest. So you could still come into the gym 2 or 3 days a week, but then just lowering the intensity, lowering the weight, so you can let your body recover and have a chance to feel a bit refreshed for the competition. Does that helpful for anyone? Yeah. Jamie? Oh, Jamie 1? Yeah. That's helpful? Yeah, cool. Any issues? Does anyone relate to anything like that, or have we kind of heard that before? Yeah, cool, awesome. Alrighty, so for our first pairing, it's going to be the flamingo and the deadlift. What I'd like you to do, I'd like you to hop up for me. I'd like you to grab a partner. Amber can jump in, which is awesome. Made it an even amount. We'll go against the wall first. So grab a foam roller. We got 4. Yeah, perfect. I'll steal one. No, you can share one. So you can share one between the 2 of you. So if you guys come around to the wall space here first. So our first warm-up exercise is called a flamingo. It's a little bit funny, but this is a great exercise to warm up the hips, knees, ankle to improve stability and just improve the activation of that area. So person A, what they'll do, they're going to put the foam roller just above their knee. They're going to hinge over, and then I want you to bring one leg off the floor and just imagine you're a flamingo holding that position. Cool. We're going to hold for 20 seconds. The leg shakes a little bit, it feels really hard, awesome. Should feel it around the glutes, hamstrings or quads. Maybe a little bit in the lower back, but it should mainly be here. Cool. Okay, person A, head to the wall space for me. Person B, you'll be after them. We will do both legs before we switch over. So I'll count you into it, so get ready. Going to bend over first, and then bring that inside leg off the ground, and then just holding. So with this one, what it's doing, hopefully you feel those glutes working already. How are they feeling? Perfect, awesome. Feeling okay? Should be hard, it should be challenging. Imagine you're pushing into that foam roller with the knee that's off the floor. With your foot that's on the ground, try to play around with the position. So do you have full contact of the foot? Is your toe down? Is your toe off the ground? Are your weights more on your heels or more on the front of your foot? And we want to kind of be in between. And rest. Nice. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. And then we'll go to the other side. So now it's a little bit tricky. We always feel like we want to bring the wrong foot off the ground. Make sure the inside foot comes off, bending over, and then holding there. You'll probably most likely feel that one leg feels a bit harder than the other side, or a little bit easier. This is really normal. The body's always going to be slightly asymmetrical. It's never going to be completely even. But exercises like this can really help even those things up to make you perform a little bit better, especially when you're lifting lots of weight. Good, hopefully we're getting a good burn. 5 more seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest, nice. Perfect, person B, coming up. It's always hard to be the second person, you've seen it. Alrighty, so everyone going in, that foam roller should just be above the knee, bending over first. So your feet should be in line. Make sure the inside foot comes off the ground. Good. Sitting back and then just holding that position for me. So pushing into the wall. Imagine like you're a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. Kind of that kind of visualization. So many animal interpretations today. And then if you don't really feel your glutes working that much, try to bend over more and then straighten your knee a little bit. Yeah, perfect. Nice, Amber. That's it. Good, hopefully it's starting to burn. 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nice, very good. How'd that feel? Spicy? Perfect. Harder than it looks. Harder than it looks. You all are doing really well. Bending over, and then inside foot comes off the ground. Good. It's funny when you give this exercise to the big boys, because then they're just there like shaking the whole time, and they really struggle. Very good. Pushing into that foam roller. Everyone's looking like you're in a great position. Last 10 seconds. Hopefully you're getting a good burn. Try to keep your torso as straight as you can. Try to see where you're leaning towards. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Lovely. How's that? Hard? Easy? Good?
Yeah.
Perfect. So with that exercise, it's a great way to strengthen through the hips here and make it a lot more effective at warming this up before you get into your deadlifts. Okay. So what we're going to do now, go into your partners for me. So there's going to be a fun thing you could do in the morning before class. Put the foam roller next to your leg, and then your partner has to then hold it with their leg. Nice. Cool. I want to make sure I film this. It'll be fun. So, next step. Make sure you bow over first. Adjust your feet as needed, and then your inside foot is going to come off the ground, and then you have to work as a team to hold the foam roller up. Way you go.
Come on.
Nice.
You got it.
Oh, the Jamie and Amber combo locked in. Nice. I'm glad we ended up with an even number. It would have to be me doing this. Almost there. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good job. Nice. Swapping sides, guys. I'm actually even you out. We're not going to walk in circles today. So bending over, hinging over, and then bringing that inside leg off the ground, learning from any mistakes that you did on the first set. So great to work on balance here, and it should burn a fair bit. It might be a little bit less burny than against the wall, just because you're having to work as a team. But it's a fun way for you and your friend to make sure you do your warm-up exercises before having to get into class. Really good hold, last 10 seconds. Everyone's doing really well. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Lovely. Did really well.
Except when you got started.
Alrighty, so I want in your pairs grabbing a barbell. We'll get these 3. We'll put them down on the ground. We'll add, say, 5 or 10 kilos either side. We'll go through deadlift form, lifting, and then we'll pair that with the flamingo that we're working on. Just on the ground, maybe 5 or 10 kilos either side, just to start with. Just going to warm up. And then we'll go through our technique, lifting technique, and have some fun. Okay, perfect. How's everyone's legs feeling?
Good.
Warm? So a common question that I get a lot is, how often should I be stretching? How often should I be doing these extra things in my life to avoid injury? And the best answer I have is I don't really know. So there's a lot of Instagram, a lot of social media stuff where it's like wake up at 4:30 a.m., ice bath, recover, and tape every orifice of your body and do all these things, red light this. I like to just try to add easy things into people's routine that doesn't make a big inconvenience to your life. And something that ideally you do with someone else, because we're more likely to show up for someone else, usually more often the time, than ourselves. So from, say, your friends today or you as a group, hopefully you can kind of do some of these warm-ups that we go through today before class, just to help your performance. Doesn't need to be a lot, just say 2 sets. We'll probably go through another 1 or 2, and holding for about 30 seconds each side, and that can be enough to give you, say, 70-80% of the benefit of warming those areas up, making sure they're activating and making sure they're doing the right thing. I find exercises like that tend to be the best bang for your buck, because it really works the area and it helps loosen things up. Now for your deadlifts, we're going to go through that position. What I want you to feel and what I want you to think about, similar to when we were at the flamingo, is when you're on one leg, were you really far back? Did you struggle to put pressure through your toes? Or were you really far forward and struggle to put pressure through your heel? More often than not, when we're doing a class, we're not really thinking about our foot pressure, but that can make a really big difference to our performance in our deadlifts. So a common mistake that people can make with their deadlift is they're really far back in their heels. They kind of sit their hips down too far, and then they're trying to lift it back. Or vice versa, they're just over the top, and they're just RDLing or just using all of their hamstrings. What I'd like you to do is bend over the hips first, just like that flamingo, keeping your arms loose, bend the knees slightly, and then standing up. We'll go through 5 reps. After that, partner B will head in, they'll do their 5 reps, and just have a feel of like where you tend to lift and where you tend to put your pressure through. Okay, partner A, go in. Just go through 5 deadlifts, should be nice and easy, nice and light. Push to the ground, standing up. I like to think about pushing the floor away. So rather than thinking of the deadlift as a pull, thinking about pushing through the legs, keeping the arms loose. They're just hanging on to the bar. They're not, your arms can't pick up 100 kilos, but your legs can. Nice, and then swapping over, partner B. Person A, try to remember something that you felt, and then we'll talk about some of the things that we found that were helpful afterwards. Good. Nice. Good. Perfect. A rest. Jamie 1, how did you feel?
Yeah, good, strong.
Strong?
Yeah.
Did anything change or feel different for you, or everything felt fairly
No, that
same?
was pretty good. I like that weight. It's when it gets heavier that I'm like, yeah.
And when it gets heavier, do you get worried about your back, or do you get worried about certain areas?
Yeah, the back. Yeah.
Anyone else get worried about their back when they're deadlifting? Everyone? And did any of the things we changed just then, maybe you could tell me how you felt, like, did you feel like that felt a bit better, pushing rather than pulling?
I felt like very activated in my glutes, I suppose. Yeah, but I have a bit of a sore back, so it's a bit tight on the right side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If we activate the glutes prior to, that can make us feel a little bit better. If the back is feeling that it is being overworked, then we can get some of those other muscles involved. Yeah. The lower back is a muscle itself. It doesn't not ever have to work. We do want to strengthen that muscle, but a lot of our glutes, quads, hamstrings are bigger and stronger, so we want to be able to use those. Anything change over here? Like, did any of the cues or different positions feel different to you? Perfect, perfect. Something that I like to think about as well when I'm doing my deadlifts is my arms are relaxed. So rather than needing to tense my arms up or think about pulling, all I want to think about is pushing through my legs and then standing up. So what we'll do, we're going to go through the flamingo one more time. Then on our next set, we'll add a little bit more weight. I want everyone to do a push, pause at the shin for 3 seconds, and then standing up. And just play around, try to make your arms as loose as possible. What I like to do with coaching is I like to go to the extreme of one end to feel what it's like to go a little bit too far that way, so that we can more easily pull it back to find that middle ground that works best for you. Because sometimes when you're working on different movements like deadlift, squats, and so on, it is complicated. So it's good to kind of feel what's either way of the spectrum of movement that you have, and then you can try to find that good in between that works well for your body. Okay, grab a flamingo. We're going to go through our partnered one again. I think it's a good fun one. Should we go for as long as possible? Last person standing. Hold on, don't start yet. I'll tell everyone when to start. Bending over first. Good, and then 3, 2, 1, let's go. Lovely. So you do want to add a little bit of pressure into that foam roller, ideally equally to the same as your partner, so you can balance there. A nice bent over hinge position. So if you're in that good hinge position, you should feel the glutes really warmed up. Really good. Damn, I don't know if we will have a last person standing. It's too good. I did this at a high school once, and the boys struggled to get more than 10 seconds, so you're doing very well. Let's just go 5 more. I don't think anyone's going to break. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good, other side. Too tough, too tough. Other side, last set here. Starting in 3, 2, 1, where you go. Hinging over, bending over, that's it. If you're not really feeling the glutes, you can bend over a little bit more. If you're not really feeling the hamstring or the quad, you can try to straighten your knee. Or if that doesn't feel very good for you, you can bend the knee a little bit. That can sometimes get your quad engaged a little bit more. Try to keep that big toe down on the floor so you're keeping like a full point of contact.
Flailing your arms around.
3, 2, 1, and rest. Good job. Good way. Something that I try to do with any of the exercises that I give my clients is I like to make it a bit of fun. So sometimes I'll walk out if I see like a physio or someone and they've given me like 5 exercises and I just completely blank and forget them. That's normal. Don't feel like it's bad. I think it's really good. Like if you ever do see someone try to get a video, say, can you just video this for me or send me a video so you remember? Because it's better to do 1 or 2 things consistently that you remember than 5 things that you keep forgetting or you never do properly. Okay, let's add a little bit more weight on. Person like A and B can work together. Add some weight either side, 5 or 10 kilos, or if you feel pretty good, you can add a little bit more. We're going to do our pause reps next. So we're going to stand up with the bar, keeping the arms as long as possible. Okay, person A, hopping in whenever you're ready. Getting into your setup, make sure the barbell's over your shoelaces so it's nice and close to your body. Keep your arms really relaxed, try to over-exaggerate it. I want you to push through the ground.
I have a question, sorry.
Yeah?
Do you still want to try and like activate your lats? I feel like that's what we get taught here, and that's why we're like, we get the like tense arms.
The hard thing with coaching is, a story that I'll use is, imagine if you tried to describe what peanut butter tastes like to someone who never had peanut butter.
It's all different. Yeah.
So coaches will use cues and words that work well for them or has worked well in the past.
Yeah.
So you can try, as I said, try the complete opposite, see what that feels like, and then we'll probably find an in-between that works perfectly.
Okay, yeah.
Is that fair? Like,
Yeah.
Cool.
I think we're just all trained like that. That's why we're all like,
So yeah, use this as like a movement exploration. You're going to see what it's like to completely relax the arms, see what that feels like. Push through the ground, pause at the shin for 3 seconds, and then finish the movement. That pause will also make you realize if you're letting that bar shift away from you too much. So you do want the knees slightly over the bar to start with. Take the tension through your legs, holding, and then standing up. Nice. Good. Perfect. Have a rest. Last one, guys. Good. How did that feel?
yeah, it feels like I'm.
Less back?
Yeah, probably.
Hard to say when it's so
I
light.
try to, when I'm feeling it in my back, I'm trying to be like, focus more on your glutes, because I feel like I use my back more than I should.
Okay.
Yeah.
With that or with lifting, sometimes I find it better to focus on what my feet are doing, because where I put pressure through the ground is going to cause the rest of the chain to do what they do.
Right.
So thinking about maybe pushing through the toes, or I like to think about there's a piece of paper under my toes and I'm not going to let it blow away.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So with lifting, I guess another really good point, if you're coming to do a workout here and you see that it's mostly lifting, maybe try to adjust the shoes that you wear, if that's all possible. Yeah. Because then you'll be able just to feel the ground a little bit more and you'll be able to just kind of understand where your body is. Today is more about seeing what the right things are for you. Again, what I'm saying is not saying other cues are wrong. It's just giving you other options so then you can find what's best thing for yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's your body. Try to see what feels good. And certain cues that will work now at lighter weights may not be what you use later on as it gets heavier. But I want to at least provide you the options so you know what it feels like. Person B, hopping in for me. Good, so whenever you're ready, just go through, say 5 reps, pausing at your shin, and then standing up. Good. Try to feel like you're pushing through the floor the whole time. Keeping your arms really loose, like noodles, and just using the legs. Good. Nice, good technique. Good. Lovely. Perfect. How'd that feel?
I still tense in the arms. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
it's like a hard thing to
What from today, because these movements are so ingrained, it may click with you, say 6 months down the line, where you're like, oh, okay, like that feels different, or that feels better, or it may not feel better. You may just keep using the technique that you find that works. This is where the longer term nature of my job comes into play. Sometimes it does take working with someone for say 6-12 months to see a long-term change, but then that change could then be good for the rest of their life. And yeah, it's really good that you all are invested in coming here today to learn a bit more about your body, a little bit more about how you can move, and giving you some options to help things activate. So right now, a good tool that you have is that flamingo exercise. What I usually give my clients, I'm like, do this 2 or 3 sets before you get into class. Just get there 5 or 10 minutes beforehand. Do it, really easy to do, 30 seconds each side. Your legs are warm, you're ready to go lift. Doesn't have to be a half an hour pre-ritual routine of stretching and stuff. Okay, awesome. So we're gonna go into our squats next. So we can take the weights off, we can adjust the racks. And I also wanna get some benches out as well, so I'll grab some benches. Thank you, pleasure. I reckon stick them over here. So just one there would be perfect. Thanks, Amber. Thank you so much. Alrighty. So coming over here, team. So Amber, could you lay on the ground for me with your feet on the bench? So imagine Amber and I, we're a team now, and I'll get you to shuffle this way a little bit more for me. So one person's going to be laying this way. We'll spread it out a little bit more just to give everyone some more space. One person's going to be laying this way, so you're being your team. Amber's going to be the demo because she's going to nail it. So she's at a 90-degree position of her knees, so 90 degrees of knee bend. I want her to lift her toes up towards her knees, so to activate this muscle here. Then I want her to dig her heels in, so imagine she's going to pull the bench towards her, and then lift her hips as high as possible. And then she's going to hold this here. When she's here, her hamstrings might feel like they're going to cramp. They feel okay?
Yeah, they feel all right at the moment.
Cool. If you try to pull the bench towards you, more hamstring?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I want you to try to get your hamstrings as squeezed or as activated as possible without them cramping. If they are going to cramp, just bring your hips down a little bit lower. But the goal of this exercise is the hips as high as possible whilst pulling the bench towards you at rest. Perfect.
Thank you.
So with squat range or squat depth, if you find that it's always hard to get lower down, we can elevate the heels. I'm sure some of you have played around with that. That's perfect. Like, I think for the rest of my life, I'll always squat with lifters on because, you know, some people can squat to depth great without them. It's not a cheating thing. It's not like something that you don't ever have to work away from. If you always want to wear lifting shoes, just wear them or elevate your heels. It's not taking away from anything. So making sure that you can stay in a good position when squatting. This is a great exercise for the squat because often neglected muscle, your hamstrings, helps pull you into the bottom position. So this helps pull you in so that you can get into that lower position and do that a bit more safely and usually just feel like you can activate those areas a little bit more. Okay? So hop into your partnerships. So you're staggered. One person one end, one person the other end. If we're knocking heads, we'll shuffle you a little bit. So feet up on the benches, having your heels there. Good. Knees at 90 degrees. Lift your toes towards your knees. So you should feel the muscle in the front of your shin. And then everyone lifting their hips up. Go as high as you can, so get your hips as through as much as possible. And then try to pull the bench towards you. So I want you to feel like your hamstrings might cramp up or they're feeling like they're really activating. If they are going to cramp, just move your hips lower down and rest for a little bit. But if not, just try to hold it for as long as you can. We'll go 10 more seconds. So toes up towards your knees, pull that bench towards you, squeezing through your hamstrings and pulling that bench. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nice. How'd that feel? Good? Hard? Not too bad? So these exercises should be quite challenging. Like if you get it into the right position, and the better you get at these exercises, the harder they'll be, because you're getting better at activating and squeezing those muscles that I want you to feel. We'll head over to the squat racks. Person A will start squatting. We'll go for 5 reps. So jump in whenever you're ready. Hopefully your legs are feeling warm, especially if you've done a class already today. Just finding a normal squat stance and just going through 5 repetitions. So trying to stay, I guess, keeping all points on the feet in contact with the floor. So feeling like your heels can stay centered, your toes, and then feeling balance between those 2 points. Nice. And person B hopping in. Go on the tippy toes. Good. Nice. Nice. Awesome. Legs are feeling warm?
Yeah. Yeah. They're tired, I think.
Tired. Legs are feeling tired.
Yeah.
Lovely. Everybody. So a common thing that I saw amongst a few people lifting is you can play around with where the bar sits on your shoulders. So if you find that it's a little bit uncomfortable on the top of the neck, you can move it slightly lower down. So it's a little bit more on the traps or near the shoulder blades. Then what I would like people to try is you can try going a little bit wider. So if you elevate your heels, usually people can go a little bit narrower, but because people aren't really elevating their heels today, you can try going a little bit wider. And it is okay if you let your torso be slightly forward. So from a sidearm point of view, if your hips are under you and you're trying to squat, it may be a little bit harder than if you go here, down, and then back up. So even for myself, I'm not really changing anything other than where I'm starting. If your hips are here and you're starting in the heels, it's harder to get lower than if I'm slightly more forward, feel the pressure on the ball with my feet, I'm going straight down and then straight back up. You see that difference?
Yeah.
So just try to feel, and it's not the same answer for everyone, but just feel where your body is in space. Maybe try a slightly bit wider if you feel a bit unbalanced. Keep that toe pressure, that ball front of the foot pressure, going down, hold, and then standing up. So we'll pause for 2 seconds and standing up for me. So person A can go again. Go for 5 reps. So you can have the bar a little bit lower and maybe the hands a little bit wider. You can see how that feels. Lean forward slightly. So keep those toes down. That's it. And then just go straight down, pause, and then pushing the floor away. So rather than leaning back, you're staying a bit more forward. Initiating the squat with your legs or with your quads. So rather than trying to sit back, you're just trying to go straight down and straight back up. Lovely. Good work. How'd that feel? Cool. Felt all right?
Yeah.
Any different? Same?
Definitely different. Way different.
Okay.
Yeah. Loved it.
Sweet. Perfect. I love that. So yeah, play around with that bar sitting on your shoulders. If it's a little bit too uncomfortable, you can have it slightly lower. It's okay to have a slight torso lean, so you can lean forward slightly at the start, have a bit more toe pressure. If that feels not really good for you, then you can shift back slightly, if that's a better option.
Like when you go forward, then like, am I pushing too far back, or how do I know if I'm going down or back?
What I liked with your change was at the first one, the toes came off and then you rocked a lot.
Yeah.
So your body weight was shifting back and forward. On the second one, what I liked a lot is you kept the same foot pressure the whole time.
Yeah.
So you just went down and up.
Focusing on it more, because you're right.
Again, hopefully you don't need to remember all these cues that I'm using to change and I'm trying to cater for everyone. Just try to remember how certain things felt. Like if it feels good, explore that, work on it for 6 to 12 months, see if it's the right option for you. You may try it for a bit, but then realize, oh, no, I prefer the other way that I was doing it. That worked better for me. These are just options that you can choose and pick. Cool. We're going to go back to the hamstrings. We'll do those one more time. We'll do some squats again, and then we'll finish with the shoulders and the bench. So your flamingo is more for single leg stability, glute activation. This is more for hamstring range of motion and knee range of motion, but then hopefully you're feeling the front of the shin work as well. Okay, whenever you guys are ready, hopping up, knees up, try to lift your toes as hard as you can towards your knees. So that little muscle there helps with the ankle range of motion. And then, excuse me, you're trying to pull your knees forward over your toes. So you're digging your heels in. You can also think about pulling that bench towards you as another way to activate those hamstrings. Good, 10 more seconds, focusing on your breathing. Now if you can, if your hamstrings are allowing you, try to get the hips higher up. Eventually you kind of want to be like a tabletop position where your hips are kind of flat. And then you're feeling that really big squeeze through the back of the legs. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Lovely. A bit harder that time? Yeah. Good, awesome, awesome. Everyone has good poker faces. I'm not sure if it's hard or not.
I feel like I'm shaking.
Again, this isometric contraction or holding movement is really good to help. Like if you come in one day, you say you've done a big session, your knees are a bit sore, or I find if your hips ever get quite tight, I find this can be really good at opening up that area. Kind of, it doesn't solve everything, but it's a good bang for your buck. It can help with quite a few things. Last set of squats. If you want to go a little bit heavier, you can. If you're happy with that weight, feel free to leave it at that weight. We'll go 5 reps. And just play around with your weight, where you're feeling the foot pressure and the foot contact. Pressure, pressure. If you need a drink of water, if you need to duck to the bathroom, feel free. Where you guys go? Again, you can really over-exaggerate something. So you can even just do a little bit too much of it, see what that's like, and then pull it back. You can try even hands slightly wider or slightly narrower, depending on what feels good for yourself. And then when I'm squatting, I like to imagine I'm just moving straight up and down. So rather than sitting back, I like to go straight down and straight up. Nice, Jamie, good job. Good, that's it. I like to breathe at the start of my lift, so I'll breathe in, I'll hold my breath, and then I'll push and then breathe out at the top. So just finding that breathing into the movement so you can get that rhythm and that timing. Excellent. Hope you felt something there that worked well for yourself. If not, maybe it was a deadlift rather than the squat. Squats may be fine. And that's a great tool that you can use. So say deadlift day, we can do like a flamingo, more of a squat day, even if it's like goblet squats or a bunch of thrusters. I find thrusters are pretty brutal. So you can do 1 or 2 of those, and you can pick and choose which feels good for yourself. I find it's good to try to, like what I try to do anyway for my clients, is give them the tools to help themselves so that they can be a bit more autonomous about preventing things from popping up and dealing with things as they go. Okay. Any questions for anything? No? Felt good? Happy? Felt good? Sweet. Awesome. What we'll do next, we'll take the weight off. We'll get the benches over here. We'll get set up for bench press. And then we'll do one more exercise with that. We're almost over. 7 hours almost over. Okay, once you're set up, grab like a foam roller. I just need 2 more. And I've got the bands over here, so we just need a band and a foam roller, but I got the band sorted. Okay, so with this exercise, it's going to be for your shoulder. So maybe you've done exercises like in the past where you work on your rotator cuff, where like you're turning out and you're working on these kind of muscles. We're going to do a continuation of that, which is a little bit more challenging. You can use a band, but if you don't have a small band, don't worry about it, you can do it without. So the way this one works, you have a foam roller against the wall here. If you can't see too well, feel free to come around to the side. I'm karate chopping it. So My elbows are in line with my shoulders, and I just have a little bit of tension on the band. So if I was to relax, that band would pull me in, my elbows would come out. What I'm thinking of is elbows in, band out. Kind of like a W. Once I found my W, then I'm just gonna push up and then come back down. A big thing here is try not to lift the chest up. I like to think about being a turtle. Turtle shell. Cool? So W and turtle. And then try to go up and down. Band. Person A can go first. Person B can go after. Band, band, band. And just holding on to one edge of it. So don't double band it because that'll be a lot harder. Go through, whenever you're ready to start, let's go through 8 reps, moving up and down. Doesn't have to be all the way up, all the way down. Trying to push your back away from you, so making that turtle shell shape. That's it. And keeping some tension into that band the whole time. Hopefully it should be burning the shoulders. A common theme you can tell from all the exercises today is they are hard. If you do them well, these are hard, and they'll probably keep being hard. Good. After you've done your 8 reps, or if you've lost count, have a rest. Most likely you'll lose count. I usually lose count. Lovely. How'd that feel?
That's hard.
Shoulders?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Nice. And team B, the B team, best team. That's it. So it's pushing your back away from you. So making that turtle shell, keeping some tension into the band. Elbows come in. That's it. Nice. You can stand a little closer to the wall. Yeah, lovely. Good. And just moving up and down. And hopefully you get a good burn through your shoulders. Good. So if you find that your shoulders are feeling a bit tight when pressing, we're going to do bench press today, but if you're doing overhead press or things like that, then this is a great exercise that you can use before you get into your workouts. You don't have to remember all this stuff today. If you want, you can leave me your details and I can send you a program and I can send you all these videos. Have a rest. Good job. How's that? Hard? Sweet. Nice. Leave the stuff here. We'll do our bench and then we'll come back. Person A, feel free to add a bit of weight if you want to. If you just want to do the empty bar, that's fine. We'll go through 8 reps. We'll go through a little bit more repetitions. Doing everything. Doing all the things. Whenever you're ready, where you go into your normal setup. Hopefully your shoulders feel kind of warmed up from that exercise. Just go through 8 reps, lowering down and then coming up. Something that I like to think about with my bench is I'm pushing through my legs. So I'm creating tension through the floor and squeezing the glutes and the quads to feel like I'm creating a stable base for me to press off. Nice. Perfect. Something what I'd like to show you guys before the B team rock in is if your feet do struggle to make contact with the ground, some of you may have tried this, you can use plates. So I think a thing that can get overlooked when bench pressing is that if you're finding that the only contact you can make is on your toes and you can't really feel anything work through here, try to use some plates so you can imagine that you're pushing the heels down a bit more. The heels don't need to touch the ground, but I like to think of that intention of pushing. So my quads are activated, my glutes are activated, it lifts my chest up. It is okay if you have some extension here, just depends what feels good for you. And then I like to think my neck is kind of long or flat to the bench. If you need the plates, use them. If you don't need them, don't feel like you need to use them. Do you want me to leave those there?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Good things come in small packages.
Because I'm like, oh, I can't remember.
Fair enough. But if you're doing a 1RM day, if you're doing like a heavy day, it's worth it, I reckon. So when I'm benching, I like to push through the ground. Feeling my quads like I'm pushing the floor away. And that kind of extends my back and lifts my chest up. And that can be a better position to press from. Nice. Perfect. Has anyone tried the plate thing before? Have you tried the plate thing before?
No, I haven't tried that.
No? No? Cool. That feel okay for yourself? Have you done that before, the plate thing? Sweet. Sweet. Does anyone think about their leg drive when they bench?
When
We
it
do?
gets heavier.
Yeah, when it gets heavy, you're like,
Yeah.
So rather than just squeezing the glutes, I want you on the next set to think about pushing the ground away from you. So rather than just pushing through the floor, I like to think about pushing this way. So that I'm using the friction of the bench to kind of create a bit more space through here. So I can come down, back up. We'll go back to the shoulder one. Last one there. Team A can go in. And then we'll go back to the bench to finish off. And then you guys can chill. Go home. Lay on the couch. So keeping tension into that band. So that's our external rotation or our rotator cuff muscles. Elbows stay in. And then going up and down. Lovely. 8 reps. Once you've done your 8, have a rest. And then B team will jump in. Good. Nice. Make sure you breathe. Usually we forget to breathe. And then having a break once you're done. Nice. So, and if you ever do have a shoulder niggle, it is good just to isolate the shoulder. But then as things need to progress, we need to try to get the shoulder blade and the shoulder working together. So this is a great continuation from that. Nice, that's it. Pushing into the foam roller. Good. Nice. Good work. That's it. Nice, Amber. Have a rest. Lovely. Usually it burns a bit more in the second set because it's like a little bit tired and you kind of know what you're doing. Alrighty, for our bench now, we'll go through 8 reps again. Try to imagine that you're pushing the floor away. So filling your quads as well as your glutes. Keeping the chest high and then making a long neck.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I'll give it a whirl.
Give it a whirl. And then once you've done your 8 reps, have a rest. Good. If the feet are stable and if your base is strong, then it's going to help with your pressing and make that feel more stable as well. Awesome. Nice. Felt okay?
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Perfect. Good?
Look at you guys.
Nice.
Shut up.
And last set here, guys, and then we'll finish up. Nice. Beautiful. Nice. Thank you. Thank you for spending an hour with me today, guys.
Thank you.
We'll put all the bars away, we'll put the benches away.